Nickle, when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in March of '92, which is just over 2 years ago.
And how long did they give you?
Well, 90% of the people with ALS die within 4 years. Although my doctor always told me from the very beginning that I was young, I was a special kind of case because I was young, and so it was very possible that I would have much longer than that. And initially I thought I would die within 4 years. Now I think if I were not on IVIG, I possibly would die within 4 years, because I went for 2 months without it this last time, and by the end of 6 weeks really was feeling completely drained and fatigued and like I was dying. That's how I felt. You know, not immediately, but bit by bit. Again, I don't know if death is the issue. I don't think it matters. We all die. I think what matters, I think life is the issue. Do we all live?
And are we making use of the time we have?
Are we making use of the time we have? And also, but for me, the side issue is if I can't do anything, you know, then does it really matter if I live or die? I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I sometimes I wish God would just get me out of this, you know, in as painless a way as possible, but not till August. I want to enjoy summer, and then when it starts to snow, I'm ready to go.
She talks in my head, she rained down on me. She's all that she touches, she's all that she says, she's all there is to see. I can't reach her, she moves too fast. If I stop running, this moment will
Well, I have to tell you that today I feel kind of like, I feel a little strange doing this video, because it seems to me that videos are done of people who are exceptional. And who are exceptional.
Oh, I see.
And right now I feel like with this disease and everything before, like I said before, all of this idea of it being this big journey and learning so much, and today I just feel like, oh, what, are you kidding? I'm just tired of it. I just don't want to have it. I don't know if I can handle it. It just makes me feel bad. Ooh, that is nice. So I just don't think, I'm just ordinary here. Let's see, buddy. Oh, sorry, I didn't put my signal light on. My fault. Ah! I love this car. I've had it 10 years now.
You've had this car 10 years?
I don't know. I lost count. Maybe not. But almost 10 years. I bought it when I was in college. Do you remember I had this car in college? Do you remember this car, Lorette?
I remember you getting it after you
Right.
had that
I had that
Toyota.
little white Toyota, and then I bought
Didn't
this.
you come back from being in Europe and you bought it?
Something like that, yeah. I think so. It's been a great car. Sometimes I think I'm learning things, sometimes I think I know things, and a lot of times I just think I'm just an unfortunate waif who has this disease. I don't know if I know anything. Whoa, rocks. Did I show you my photos? Did I talk about going to Moab and having photos taken of me in the nude?
I know about those. You told me about them once.
Yeah. After I found out I had this disease, I went to Moab and had a photographer take pictures of me in the nude.
Why?
Because I wanted to record my body before it went away. And it was a really great thing. She came with her Indian guide, we were all women, and we went out into the Red Rocks and took my clothes off and laid down on different rocks, and she took pictures of me. And it's kind of a cathartic experience. I liked it a lot. I've been thinking of getting a new car because it's hard to get into this one. The handles are difficult to use. But I like it. I like this car. Young boys with beards.
Do you feel angry that you can't go do the things you used to do, like bicycling and rock climbing?
I think I would feel angry about that, except that what I really feel is that when I could rock climb, I did it, but I never really committed myself. Again, it's that lack of commitment in my life that I regret. That, and so I tend to turn it into kind of self-condemnation rather than anger.
That you didn't take advantage
Of,
had it.
yeah, when I had it. And even worse, like I said, I think to myself, okay, if I were to have health now, what would I do with it? Would I actually go out there? And to some extent, I wonder if I should go out there and do some of that stuff now, while I still can now. I mean, I can't rock climb anymore. I might be able to do some cycling, but I could certainly go skydiving. How about that for an idea? But I'm more angry about sex than anything. There were definitely things I know I would have done there if my hands worked better. I don't know. I feel like I'm such a gutter wench. I'm not sure where I fit on the spiritual evolutionary scale.
I'm in the Seriously. It's far more thrilling.
I feel like I don't talk to my parents much, except about practical things with this disease because it worries them too much. And I don't talk about my spiritual journeys because that also worries them too much. In that sense, I feel kind of sad that I haven't been able to confide more.
Now this is just from my experience. I don't know if this is really true on the numbers, but when I see the younger patients, some of the younger patients that I have seen, like the 30-year-old that I'm talking about, it first affected his hands, his speech.
Yeah.
When it affects your speech, it doesn't take long to, affect your swallowing, and the next thing is your lungs. So when you're at that stage already, the prognosis is not good. So.
Yeah, I've seen that guy at an ALS meeting. I was surprised at how young he was. That terrifies me. I mean, it's one thing to lose your hands, but boy, if I can't talk,
I know.
I'm going to be in big trouble.
I think a positive attitude makes a difference, and very good family support.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the support, where are you?
I mean, right now, I think about being on a respirator, and I just think, no way.
Yep.
I'd rather just die if I'm
Right.
that bad, but who knows what I
Yeah.
would think. If I got to that point, I might be just still loving life enough to
Yeah.
keep going. Sometimes I think I'm still in an extreme state of denial. Or, I mean, you read alternative books that talk about, how your mind can help heal your body, all that kind of stuff. And they're always saying, hey, you have to come to the point where you know you can get better. It's this faith healing, basically. And I don't know if I've accepted it. I think what happens with me is that at each plateau, I lose a little function, and then I have to go through the business of accepting that, just that much. And it's hard for me for a while, and then I pick up and I'm fine again until I lose more, and then I have to go through this process again of going, oh, shit.
So it's a constant mental battle.
It's not constant, but there are definitely phases.
How's it going?
Good.
How long have you been here?
I've been here, what time is it?
1:15.
I've been here for about 4.5 hours. Actually 4 hours, I was late. I was half an hour late. And I really need to go to the bathroom.
Can you go when you're hooked up?
Well, I should ask Carol. We may be able to drag this thing into the bathroom.
I'd love to
I'm not
photograph
letting you come.
No, I'd love to. So, this is a podiatry chair,
This
right?
is a podiatry chair, though. Yeah, this is the
Hey,
podiatry.
didn't you do this therapy? You did this last year, and then a month ago.
I did this last year for 3 months, and I wasn't getting worse while I was on this therapy, but I didn't get better. And so we decided to stop it after 3 months because I wasn't getting better. And about 6 weeks later, I started to get worse, much faster than I had before. And it could have been that this has about a 6-week half-life, and so it might have been that this was wearing off, and I started to get worse, and that in fact it had an effect. Or it could have just been that it was the summertime, and it was the temperature, and in September was when I started getting worse, when the temperature started to drop. So we're trying it again.
Hey, should we try going to the restroom?
Let's do. Now, here's the question. Why do they have doorknobs like this in a hospital where handicapped people are? They should have the European ones, right? Right.
Now, you're going to wait a month before you start chemo to see
Yeah.
what the effects are?
Well, we did this a month ago, and so this will be my booster, and we should maybe see within a month. I mean, frankly, it takes about 3 or 4 months before you can tell.
Okay.
But I'm running out of time. Chemo is...
What do you mean you're running out of time?
I mean, if my hands keep getting worse, see, if they don't get worse, so that's okay, but if they keep getting worse, then I can't afford to lose much more of this if I'm going to still be an artist. Harmony, do you want some tea? Faster. It's getting faster, the amount of disintegration that I'm experiencing.
How is this disintegration of your hands affecting your life?
It affects it because I'm an artist. Even when I was a young girl, my hands, people will say, oh, if any part of your body was you, what would it be? And for me, it was always my hands. That's the part of me that is most strongly associated with my identity. And it not only affects it because it makes it difficult to do things, but it affects it because I don't know how to live without my hands. I mean, I'm not Stephen Hawking. I'm not a physicist. My life isn't in my head, so I don't know what I would do. The odd thing is that things you never expected. They tell you have ALS, and you think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to walk again. I'll be in a wheelchair. Well, what? Are you kidding? Putting your contacts on. That's what's frustrating, Being able to put moisturizer on in the morning. I can't straighten my fingers out, and so washing my face, rinsing my face. I can't straighten my fingers out, and so I can't get the water to splash up there, Those are the things that are really, really frustrating to me. Fortunately, at work, I have a crew of people who work with me, and I can say, give me a piece of masking tape, you know. I can't tear tape anymore. I can't use scissors. It's hard. I work in the film business as a set decorator, which is a very, very physical business. Fortunately, like I said, I've got a crew, and so I have people, I can still work. I have people who can help me. There's something going around where it starts in people's hands. That's more common with women, and that's what's happening to me. So in my case, it started in my fingers, and it just progresses up. It's progressing up my arms now. And then it just keeps going, and it's in my feet. And then after a while, it just gets worse and worse. And eventually, what happens to people with ALS is that their lung muscles disintegrate eventually, and then they can't breathe anymore. And that's how they die. I'm 37.
So you were 35.
Can you believe you asked a woman that question on camera?
So you were 35 when you knew.
I was 30, yeah, that's right.
And the typical age is 45
Or older, often much older. In my case, it's not typical though, because I have extraordinarily high antibodies, IgG antibodies. And that's, you know, they took all kinds of blood tests and everything, and that's the only thing that's really been abnormal. So it's the antibodies that are eating my nerves. But I've done everything. I mean, I went to the psychic masseuse, excuse me, Harmony, and I've done acupressure, I've done acupuncture, I've done Chinese herbs. I went to Los Angeles, had a friend who did very well, who has lupus, who had hair analysis, and they gave her all these pills, and she did great. So I did that, and didn't have much of a reaction. I did another thing where they come out and they muscle test you. They press your arm to see what you need in your body, and then they give you all these pills. And last year, my hands had muscle loss, and now it's clear up to my elbows. So we're trying the IVIG again for a few weeks to see if it will at least stabilize me. But if it doesn't, then it's chemotherapy or some other alternative therapy. I've been, I think, remarkably intelligent about how I rearrange. I mean, I suppose it's just the way that you learn how to deal with your body, but a year ago, I could hardly tie my shoes, and I was really worried. I thought, uh-oh, I'm not going to be able to tie my shoes. And now I can still tie them, even though my hands are much worse. You just learn to adjust, you know, make it work. But there are some things, like I don't wear buttons anymore. And I have figured out a way to do zippers. I attach, oh, hold on. Let's see. See, I have these little rings, and I take them, they're little key rings, and I take one, and I attach it to my zipper. And that way, let's see, I can't get, see, this is the other thing, I can't open packages. Oh, it's so frustrating. All right, here we go. All right, so I take one of these little things, and I get one of my friends to attach it to one of my zippers. And then I can grab this, see, and I can zip them up and down, because I can't pinch. Pinching is not an option. And people are always walking up to me and they say, hey, you got something on your zipper there. It's like a little for sale sign. It's kind of embarrassing, but what can I do? Stop wearing pants? But with most ALS patients, they haven't got a clue, frankly. I mean, they have maybe clues, but no substantial answers. And it's frustrating because, you know, no one knows anything. Do you want some tea?
Yeah, I'd love some. Okay, you mentioned the sex thing twice.
Sex. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, I take it that you're abstinent.
I am. I am actually a virgin. Not many of those you find running around at the age of 37.
Why are you a virgin?
Well, I'm LDS. I'm a Mormon gal, and so this is my way of being. And it has been a frustration for me, and one that not until I think a couple of years ago I actually started considering in personal terms. You know, it was always more just the way that things were done in my religion and in my society. So when I was diagnosed, I'll tell you, when I was diagnosed, the doctor came in and told me I had ALS. First thing I thought was, if I had sex, I bet I'd get over this. You know, it's like just a very immediate kind of thought. Absolutely contrary, absolutely contrary.
So how are things...
And also it doesn't make much rational sense. It's like, what? You think sex is going to cure you from ALS? No. Sex and getting healthy? That doesn't seem to make sense. But I'll put that idea out and I'll get this kind of warm feeling that in my tradition we associate with answers to prayer. Confirmations, if you will. And it's such a weird paradox for me that it's hard for me to deal with, because I'm going, okay, I've learned my whole life I'm not supposed to have sex unless I'm married. And now I'm having these feelings and these ideas that say, look, you got to do this, honey, or you're going to die. And I mean, who knows?
So that presents a conflict.
It's a conflict, but I think I've actually resolved it in favor of sex. Still haven't had any. Right now, these are my firm plans. I'm going in for another IVIG therapy on Wednesday. And if I'm still disintegrating, if my muscles are still disintegrating by the middle of July, then I'm going to start chemotherapy. I don't really want to, because in cases like mine, even if it works, you never really get off. You have to stay on it forever. And so I would prefer to avoid it. There are two other things that recently came to my attention, although I've, again, tried so many alternative things that it's a little difficult to put confidence and money into them. I am still going to an acupuncture therapist. But one is oxygen therapy, which I don't know anything about. My parents just heard a radio program the other night and came home with some phone numbers for me. And another one is what they call sound, signature sound. Some woman in Colorado who uses sound as a healing thing, which actually makes sense to me. I mean, if you think about, I've thought about this. Think about mantras, and I read about the Indian Ayurvedic traditions, and there are certain mantra sounds that they use for certain kinds of diseases. I've thought about how laughter, the guy who laughed his way back to health, was that Bernie Siegel? And I've thought about, for me personally, I've had this idea that sex is what I need in my life. And I thought, now what's the common element there? And it's all, I think it's vibratory. There's this kind of vibration that goes on when you laugh and when you do mantras. And I have really wondered, because it seems to me that there's a kind of, this is totally unscientifically not grounded, but it seems to me like everything is in motion. You know, the motion is what creates things. In fact, I read one thing that says that sound is what the universe is made out of, that it's the vibrations. You think about little atoms and molecules going around each other. So I could easily believe that sound could be a healing thing. Okay, so when we come back for lunch, I want to do big things first, like the bunting, and get the Angels Beer Hall sign up.
Okay.
And we also want to move that telegraph sign over to the other side, because we don't see it at all from where the camera is. Okay. If we don't have enough fabric, we only have 25 yards of each color. So if we don't have enough, you're going to have to strip them, because you only have 4 yards for each one. That's 16 yards. Plus, we should be able to do that. And then they'll have that tent set up after lunch, and that's in the barber tent we have to put back up. So
It came down, obviously.
it's really awful working in the rain. We hate it, but we're getting paid. That's good. Well, let me just tell you that I'm a set decorator from hell, and I'm proud of it.
No, you're not. $10. You're just the easygoing, carefree, I can make this in 2 decisions art director.
Well, I'll make it 3. Okay.
She's definitely more than 2 to 3 variety.
They're going to have this old-fashioned washing tub, and another washing tub will be out here. And of course, if it were me, I wouldn't be washing laundry in the rain, but you know, they did ask for a wet down on the street, and now they've got it in a big way. So we're going to have some smoke effects, and we'll have steam going up there, and it'll look good when we get all finished. The other good thing about the rain is that we can drive some wagons through here now and get some wagon tracks.
Is your dog back?
Bad thing is that when we drive our trucks through, we get truck tracks. Ben?
Yes.
Let's take this. Hold on, let me give him some directions for a minute.
I moved the tent down at the end of the street. They're resetting the tent at the end of the street.
What was that, 4 times now?
Probably. But I gave him a position this time.
It's about 4:30. We have about an hour left of light. We still have quite a bit of work to do. We have a sign that goes up here. We have a sign that goes down there. They're going to put up now. We have a tent that needs to be put up. The bunting is still needing to go up, and we need to age the bunting with the Hudson sprayer, which we don't have. So we'll have to do that in the morning probably. Okay, lunch.
If it keeps raining, there won't be no truck.
I'm pretty warm up top. Hi, Lorette. It's my knees that are cold right now. So, and that's just because they're wet. Do 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 do.
Pull the gloves.
Do do do. Do do do. So I should take everything off? Just don't get the important stuff in.
Okay, got your neck.
We're putting Nickle in the director of photography's extra cold weather gear, Reed Smoot. He was very concerned that she stay warm, as we all were. And so the crew sort of said, well, I have extra cold weather outfits.
So great.
And someone else said, well, I have extra big heavy boots. You want your thumb in here?
No.
Okay. I have extra big heavy boots, and then she has on some extra pants of mine and an extra kind of shirt thing underneath. That's a look. Oompa loompa. Okay, let me.
Is there a strap that tightens up these ankles?
Yeah. Do you have a hat? Do you have a hat with a brim?
Not right now.
But it has been?
It hasn't been too bad, actually. Okay, cool. Hey, this is exciting.
You stick your arms out.
Golly!
Hi, I'm ready to go back to work.
Yeah, it's down to about 50 degrees outside.
End of that brace, to that end of that brace with the red, white, and blue.
Oh, the width of that.
Okay, and just start working that way.
This is actually makes it easier for Gordon to see the. There we go.
See why?
Let's never work in this town again. Get out of here. That's pretty. Yes, dear.
I need a placement on the barrel.
Well, we're gonna just look through the camera right now. We're gonna give you a really good idea.
Oh, you guys see down here at all?
We'll tell you as soon as we look through the lens. Eventually, we'll see it from this angle right here, Nickle. This white shot.
Okay.
That's the last.
All right. I'm really in panic mode now.
Blacksmith and his helper are actually around that corner. in a different shot.
back.
So if you want to use them for now,
Oh yeah, right in front of the brothel right there. One that says saloon on it. Where they got it in the morning and where they got it last night.
Well, the Wranglers aren't doing it.
Okay, yeah. See where those two crates are on that stevedore? Just right there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now this sign, you're gonna pull that sign up and just set it right up here against this tent and nail it into this post. I want you to go get produce.
Oh. Okay, so Harmony.
And then I've got some tin
We're gonna have
stuff
to
I
lift
want to
from the
set up
bottom.
here.
They're all screwed together.
Yeah.
Here needs sign has come down. You want to back
Okay,
up?
Sid, go put that back up. No, those apples aren't going to show that way, Ben.
No, I know they're not going to show. That's why I'm going to stack them.
Okay, well just pile them in there. Don't be so neat. We don't have time.
Let's do picture on this, folks. This will be picture. So eyeglasses, watches, rings, sweaters. We'll actually roll some film. Steve, you want to put the cows in? Steve, let's go ahead and put the cows in. Action! Goes all the way down. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Move through, move through, move through.
I can't walk on my heels anymore, you know. I could barely do it. Last time I was in my doctor's office, and now, as you can see, I can hardly keep my feet up. And it's when I notice those things that I realize that I'm getting worse. I'm really on a downer right now. I mean, I'm definitely feeling very little hope about it because I'm thinking about how I'm going to cope instead of how I'm going to get better. A year ago, I would have said to you, well, I'm on a journey, I'm learning a lot of things, I'm making personal decisions about my life I wouldn't have made otherwise. That's all still true, but I think at that time I really felt like if I could learn enough, then I could get out of this situation. I don't know. I mean, this week is really my out of denial week, and if you catch me at the right time, I mean, hope for what? Hope for getting better? I don't know. Chemotherapy is still a good option, but it still terrifies me. And hope for learning what matters might still be a possibility. And I'm not sure that getting better matters or not. I would like to think that it does. But you know, the other thing that keeps happening to me is the question as I start thinking about wanting to be physically better, the question that continues to occur to me is, what for? So if I got physically better, what would I do with it? What would I do with health if I had it? If I were a stronger person spiritually, maybe there is some way. I still think that faith and healing go together, but I don't feel like I have been able to access that. I haven't been very consistent about my attempts, and I have left to a great extent my traditional religious culture, and I'm not sure yet how to replace that, but I do feel the need and the loss of ritual, which has been an important part of my life. And although my church it got to the point where my church did not suit me anymore, I have not found a way of addressing my own personal spiritual life. Frankly, when I start to realize that, in fact, my body's still disintegrating and that really nobody knows anything, it becomes kind of difficult. I think a lot about, what is the worthwhileness of the struggle? It's something I haven't quite figured out. Not that my situation is bad now, I'm still in pretty good shape, but I think down the road 4 or 5 years, if I'm pretty totally incapacitated, And I don't understand the reason for hanging around. You know, I think about suicide as a really viable option.
She won't slow down, this traveling girl.
Fly,
She
swatter,
tries to
shark,
throw her arms around
swatter
the
thing.
world. There's a wide road ahead and miles to go. She gets through.
I even have a niece getting married this year, if you can believe that. Godzilla, reptile collection.
Streets and highways. There's no need for looking back. There's no
My desk. It's always messy. This is my cowboy room. This is where I write on my computer.
There's nothing left.
And that's a print that I did a long time ago.
The dance, huh?
Yeah. Here are my parents.
We see ourselves in strange
Sculptures. These are both sculptures of mine.
waiting there for me and you. Don't ask what dreams follow or where it all leads to. Just days, these days we borrow. We're all traveling.
This is one of my paintings, not finished. I think the person on the left is me, and that is my earthy self. And then the one on the right is this sort of religious self that is still unresolved. As you can see, the painting's not finished. And what's interesting is that the hands on the earthy self are painted white. My sister actually suggested that if I painted them red, my hands would get better. And I think I talked before about how I was a good Mormon girl. I had never had sex, and I felt like that was an important thing for me. I had that dream. I made certain decisions about it, and so I did. I went out and found myself a man. Sex. It's interesting. I really am a natural. I had such a good time. It wasn't exactly like that. I actually called an old friend of mine and propositioned him. And he said no initially. But then about 4 months later, the opportunity arose and I took it. Oh, I think I'm blushing. It hasn't changed my life. I think I wish I had someone with me all the time. And frankly, primarily for sex. I don't know what to tell you. Not that sex without some kind of feelings behind it would be attractive to me. But I feel like it's a really nurturing thing if you're with somebody who cares about you. And I think that would be good for me. I wish I had it all the time. And I still feel like my window of opportunity for that kind of relationship is small, and I'd like to do it now. I've also decided, though, that I am not interested in getting married because I don't want to attach myself financially to somebody who would then be responsible for me. And as my future begins to look like, yes, in fact, I'll be an invalid, I'll have medical bills, I just don't want I don't want anyone else to be responsible for me.
Rolls put in?
Yes, I think so.
All right, now where are we going to put the pies? All right. the raisins. This is Gay's pie.
Okay, now we have these nice platters here.
I can do it with like with a fruit jar and the lid.
Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Now that I can dance, I can do the mashed potato, I can do the mashed potato, I can do the twist, I can do the twist. Tell me, baby, do you like it like this?
We need to get everything out before it gets cold.
Oh, I opened that door, so.
Oh, yeah, I know. Thank you.
So,
Sorry, I'll sit there.
Well, right before I got married, I went through this phase of spent the first 5 years really looking for cures, trying to get better, going to healers, spending money on alternative medicine and regular medicine, and feeling guilty for not being a normal, productive member of society. And then I spent the year after that accepting that I was disabled and getting on disability and stopping my work because I couldn't function the way I was used to. And accepting that I was going to die. And so then I was getting all ready to die. So then I decided, well, before I die, I might as well get married to this guy who's a great guy and try that out, and then I'll have a nice wedding and a weepy funeral and go out with a bang. But I didn't die. So now, this last year, I didn't die, so now I'm having to accept being alive and disabled. The dying part is the easy part. You know, the hard part is figuring out how to have a life while I'm disabled. So that's what I'm working on now. The hardest thing is the last 3 years I've been struggling with my voice. I went to see a voice doctor and my vocal cords are basically paralyzed now. So I have to kind of push the air up to talk and
My upper lip also doesn't move. So it's a little hard to form the words, and it's kind of an effort to make the sound. But I still manage to dominate most conversations. Where there's a will, there's a way. Anyway, I got these nifty leg braces this year so I can walk by myself and I can keep my balance. So they're really groovy. Would you like to know about sex and disability?
We used to talk about that a lot.
Yeah, were we? Well, I don't just talk about it anymore. I'm married now. Kent, do you mind if I talk about our sex life on film?
Do we have any sex life on film?
Oh, that's good. No, sex is good. Sex helps keep me healthy. It's, you know, you have to kind of adjust to doing those things which keep your energy conserved as much as possible. But that hasn't been too hard. It's actually, you know, I mean, I would be a little more rambunctious if I had more muscles and more energy. But we're not really missing out on anything. It's funny, too, because when I first got disabled, I just thought, oh, that's it. Nobody will ever be interested in me, and, you know, I could never put anyone in the position of having a relationship with me. And fortunately, you know, I'm married to a man who still seems to find me very attractive and is focused on kind of the whole person and the whole business of what makes one sexy, and not just how voluptuous I am. So we have a good sex life. Something I recommend to everyone.
Nickle, where is this place that you live?
It's in Mount Pleasant, Sanpete County, Utah.
On the highway.
On Highway 89.
Is that a famous highway?
No, it's another very, very famous highway, although I've always wanted to do a trip from Canada to Mexico on Highway 89. You guys want to go to Mexico? You want to go to Canada? Yeah, we like it here. It's a very peaceful place, except for all the traffic. But every once in a while, someone honks or waves or
Occasionally stops.
slows down, sometimes even stops. We had someone bring us a pie last week. So there are advantages of being on the front porch. That every time I go to the bathroom, Kent turns the bathroom light off now because he's afraid someone will see us in there because we don't have adequate curtainage. My view is, look, the guy's going down the road 65 miles an hour. What's he going to see, huh? But he's convinced that everyone is more interested in seeing through our windows than I think they are. Oh, there's a good one of me and Kent. My brother was holding me up so I wouldn't fall into the wedding cake while we cut it.
Let me see that one. Top one. That's great. Oh, that's a nice one of you guys kissing.
Yes, we always look good when we're kissing. That's our forte.
Okay, what's next?
If you hear some noise, it's me eating my peanut butter sandwich.
Okay. I think we're doing okay.
More kissing. There's Kent.
Laughing.
The happiest he's ever looked before or since.
Is this Nickle laughing? Laughing,
It must have been during Judy's monologue.
Yeah, Judy presented the history of our courtship.
How many letters?
Oh, I don't remember. I've got a whole file of them though.
That's a lot.
Is that
10,000?
Mm-hmm. I got this dress. We didn't have time to order one in special, and it was a size 14, so they had to really take it in. And they couldn't really take the bust in. They could take the sides in, but it was way, way too busty. So I had to buy this enormous push-up bra. Just stuffed with like 1.5 inches of cotton. Now I was just telling Kent that he was going to be so disappointed at the end of the day. Because I've just lost all my fleshiness.
I'll have a picture of the car.
Is this what you drove off in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a tempest. And so when you get to Baroque, it goes past natural and gets kind of melodramatic.
Yeah, you just went inside.
Yeah, in that teacup picture. It's the best ride in Disneyland, what?
It's the best ride. It's also the most, like, you know, not scary, but it was definitely, like, I almost got sick. I had to, like, tell everybody to stop moving that thing in the middle.
Right.
Nobody touched that thing.
Well, we were spinning as hard as we could get it to go. Oh, is that what's going on?
Yep. She's caught, yeah.
You want that scarf back there?
Yes. Working as
That sleeve up like that?
So tell me about the bed.
Shall I look at you or at the camera?
Oh.
Do you care?
I think you can look at the camera. That's always nice. Because you can only see part of me.
My friends, last group in season Valentine, they wrote to R.C. Willey, the furniture store, and they gave me this bed. R.C. Willey did. Just gave it to me.
So great.
Yeah.
You had no idea it was coming?
I knew Susan had the letter, and then Roger picked it up in his truck and drove it down there and set it up in my house, and I've been very lazy ever since. I did nothing but lay around. I haven't touched the computer since I got this bed. Hello. Oh, they're not hot.
No? This might be a little too spicy for you.
Let me get the level. Sorry.
Let's try this.
Okay, me.
That's in there.
Yeah. Okay.
You up high enough?
Yeah.
Your feet still warm?
Yeah. Oh my God. This is killing me though.
You mean the skin on your back?
Yeah.
Should I understand? Could rub it somehow.
I will. That's good. Take my glass. And pull this creeping up higher.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, is it this side that hurts?
This line.
This side. Oh, this one here is I don't know if that was gonna make it,
Yeah, I don't either.
but you know it's not really ideal weather outside anyway. It's been raining just a little off and on. It's pretty windy.
Yeah, put my glasses on.
So you haven't been watching this new moon?
Oh, lovely.
It looks like that Phoenix is up by one. In San Antonio. They're playing in San Antonio. Oh, that's true.
I don't know. It's pretty great.
It is.
It was a front page cover on the Desert
Really
News.
pretty great.
And on the Deseret News Sunday front page and Tribune Monday.
Did you keep copies of those?
Yeah, we've got one of the Tribune. I think we've got 2 or 3 of the Deseret News. The Sunday before the show opened. And so a lot of people saw this and came to the opening. It's a really fine article. There's 3 of these.
Uh-huh.
So
are they like a
For the
set?
series?
Yeah, they're exactly the same, except for the color. Sold 3 or 4 of those altogether. So it's right there in the middle of the page and had 4 of her pieces in it, although this one here is sideways.
Kent.
Oh, man!
Pretty good, huh?
That's great!
A lot of people like that one.
Oh, I like that one. I didn't know you'd done one. It's very cool.
We ran into the photographer at the framing shop, and he saw what Gay was doing, ordered prints, and decided on the spot to do a piece. So there's the rest of it there. This one wasn't that popular.
Really?
I sort of liked it. I thought it was expressive.
Yeah.
But I think only one person bought this. Okay, Man with Hat.
Oh yeah, Man with Hat is very cool.
This is one of the ones that Milton Wasmer bought. I predicted that he would. Well, it's a nice piece. This one here is.
This is the one that you guys emailed me.
Nicely put together.
Yeah. But you like the way this Tribune one is written?
The Tribune one is more based on quotes. There was only one or two that didn't sell any. Not very many. So, hand and face. See, I like this one.
Artist gay Nickle Lauretsen's body is betraying her. Don't read the whole thing?
Oh, no, go
read
for
your
it.
wonderful quotes.
There, it's nasty self-portrait.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
One of the reasons she didn't encourage her father to go to the exhibit.
Obviously something she said in here that she regrets. I can see where this is going.
I don't think there was anything bad.
His feet.
So we're going to sell this one to Kelly and Marion, whose kid is the one that this is named after. And this one, tulip trees.
Wow. And
Different
that's
colors.
the piece, like that, right? Not.
Yeah.
It's true that sometimes I feel angry about having this disease, but I don't think that it's affected my art more than, the anger I feel about anything in particular, or the sadness, or the pleasure, or the interest in life, she said.
This is her favorite. This is not her favorite one, but this is the most popular one.
Yeah.
And Judy Sleeping, which was originally called Sleeping Girl, and then Judy made her change the name to Judy Sleeping. And the Bather.
Oh, that's great too.
See, that spot's not supposed to be there. That's why this is in this pile.
That's nice.
But that's the one that was on the announcement.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have any announcements here?
Yeah. He's caught on there again.
So the question raised is, what was God thinking about, giving her this body? And she says, in the article it says, "Gay flashes you a smile that is also a grimace. There are 3 theories," she whispers. 1, there is no God. 2, God keeps his hand out of the details. She stops. What about the 3rd theory? "Oh, I know," says Gay, her eyes getting big. "You learn from suffering." "Like Job, you say?" "No, I'm definitely not like Job," she answers. "Sometimes," says Kent, "she does want to curse God and die." "I still get mad as hell," she admits. Then she tells you about a friend of hers who worries about her own fat thighs. She complains to me about her body. Hello? Hello? She just doesn't get it.
She did it. She learned to live with her disability. She's an artist. She's on the front page. She's famous. And that's good, but the truth is that that's not the end. The end is you get dead sores and you can't breathe and you're uncomfortable and it's hard to talk. Makes it hard for people to talk to you. Thoughts about God. whether we exist after we die or not, I don't think too much about the details. I believe in God, but I don't have a lot of strong conviction in that belief. That's the most annoying thing about God, is that people have to hang around and endure. I don't know what that's all about. We'll see. God's probably not talking to me right now because I'm yelling at him. I have started praying at night. Ken's atheist, but I hold his hand and I say my prayers, and he's very good to remind me if I forget, and to say them, and I kind of feel like there's so many people around me who are doing good for me, that my role right now is to be an object of service more than doing good myself. I just provide great opportunity for other people who do good. I want to enjoy summer, and then when it starts to snow, I'm ready to go.
Initially, I thought I would die within 4 years. Again, I don't know if death is the issue. I don't think it matters. We all die. I think what matters, I think life is the issue. Do we all live?
Mm-hmm.